Where's the windsock today, eh?
So away we go. Sunday football. Fremantle needing one win to make the finals. 2 games remaining for them. Fife is taken down. Pearce went to ground. Over the top comes Swallow.
In trouble.
Umpire circling. The ball rolling. Swallow's got it now. Rolls reversed. He could be in trouble. No, we've got a whistle. Umpire Stevic to bounce it down. The umpires along with him this afternoon, Schmidt and Jeffrey. Not a vast crowd. Nice day outside, but rain, I think, is forecast a little later, so the roof is closed. After the footy they go. Zeeble went to ground. Diving in there was Spur, but it's a free kick to the Kangaroos. Harper to take it. Alongside the centre circles, goes across the ground ambitiously, looking for McMahon. McMahon found it on the deck, slips a hand pass away. This is McMillan.
And a good smother by Barlow. His effort earlier was terrific as well. And then right, Fife running and carrying. Like to see that. Kicks to half forward. Just a little tall for Ballantyne. Giatley versus Ballantyne's mouth-watering, isn't it?
Brent Harvey's not going to get the space he had last week against Collingwood. He's got Ryan Crowley today. He'll be his shadow. That's interesting because talking to Tim earlier, it was either going to be Swallow or Harvey, wasn't it, Tim, I guess?
Yeah, they're knocking Harvey around as much as they possibly can to away from the ball.
So the Dockers free.
This bloke could have a big... Well, could be a big decider on this game. Sandlin's already had a couple of good taps.
So Pearce had it smothered, half smothered, and it's a great pick-up by Ferrito in the first place. Bastinak got involved with McMillan. Mzungu, we've seen him play well here at the Dome with the roof on in the past.
Spur puts it back in his path. Now Crowley buys some time there for McPhee. Hurriedly kicks it, though, still inside the centre square. De Boer goes after it. In the opposite direction comes Pearce. Did he have the football? Well, he was taken high in any case.
The telling thing there was that Atley is a great runner from half-back for North Melbourne, but on the first occasion where he actually got free, he didn't have those support runners to dish the ball off to.
Pearce, that's a better kick inside the forward 50. Mayne does well. Was he being held? I think he was. He'll get the free kick, Chris Mayne. 15 metres out. Should pop it through. That's the question with no Pavlich. Who kicks the goals? Mayne is one. They need to step up to the plate today. And what better chance than this one to start proceedings?
He's a good defender, Ferrito, one-on-one, and Thompson.
Normally very accurate. 21-2 he's kicked this season from set shots. And you like him from here. Wow.
They must have been right in front in those other ones.
Well, I don't think they were. I've seen him kick some very good goals this year. Maybe if he was to take it again, Bruce, I'd still like him from there.
No, I'm with you. It's a remarkable result. Not the one they wanted, obviously, but good start, I reckon, here, Tim. Just the early signs for the Dockers have been OK. They've been certainly hard at it. We know that from their point of view, but it's just whether they can keep up. Do you think they're quick enough to go with North?
Well, I don't know they've got the outside speed, but they're not going to allow North Melbourne to get on the outside. That's what they'll be trying to do, just sort of lock them down in close as much as they possibly can.
Swallow and Fife, shoulder to shoulder. Swallow wins that clearance. He's so good at that. Gets the ball up to half forward. Petrie. Dennis taught him everything he knew on Friday night. Harvey, Tarrant gets it back. It's part of our Friday night team. Anthony, who, as Dennis told us, went through that test. Brilliant play by the Roos. It was Cunnington and also Harvey. The kick to full forward. Hanson, big fly. Pearce, who hasn't missed a game this year, has been a revelation on the rookie list. To Dufford, who's playing loose man. Now, can Walters make a contest? He does make a contest. Ferrito on the burst.
Looks across the ground. Gives it a bit of height. De Boer trying to fist away. McMillan gets the crumb, runs to 50, searching, kick, goal. Wasn't touched. McMillan is a good running player. He possesses a strong kick, McMillan, and likes to back himself in. A bit like a right-footed Grant Birchall. And that was a good run. That's certainly hefty praise, but he's an emerging young player. Quite a few of these players playing for North Melbourne are emerging. I mean, if you win 9 out of 10, obviously something is going right for you. And it's generally the youth movement.
Here's a kick from Duffield. Now, that was just kicking to 3 North Melbourne players in. So Ross Lyon will be sending the message out saying, OK, the numbers were around the ball. That's where we have to share the ball, and we've got to show a little bit more composure. So
Sandilands wins the tap. Ibbotson just had it chopped off. Gee, Swallow's good in close, isn't he? And Garlett's quick kick up. Always think of Swallow when we called that match with the Crows last year when he just dominated like Griffin did last week. He had a remarkable match. Mzungu's kick into the centre. This is dangerous. It's a one-on-one. De Boer and Wright. Well played, Wright. Harvey already up and about. 3 disposal. That's a good one, Tim. That's piercing. Swallow just a little slow. Ballantyne runs in down. Walters back to Spur. Back to Hill. Just has to retreat. Good kick though by Hill. Out wide. So Pearce off a step. That's a better kick. His first couple weren't so good. Fife hanging on. Well played by Harper. And then McMahon. Swallow little fumble.
4 possessions though for Swallow. Back to Gibson. Goes inside the forward 50. Anthony, as we said, problems with his right eye before the game. Poked in the eye. Seems to be okay. Gets a lot of the footy, sends it down towards full forward. Petrie taken under the ball.
Good body work, wasn't it?
Yep. McFarlane having a wonderful season. Just
shoulder to shoulder then, Dennis. He just took him exactly and placed him where he wanted to.
Sandilands. Well, that's regulation for Sandy. Just reaching up, taking the mark on the defensive 50 and feeling it too. Goes with a short pass to Johnson. Johnson comes out wide. Mundy very good last week. McMahon came back with courage and thumps it out of bounds. So a boundary throw in just forward of the wing for the Dockers. They trail by 5 points.
Just the 1 goal. They've had a good chance though, the Dockers. I mean, May missed a sitter, which he hasn't been doing all year. Mzungu, he's been about the place early and a ball up. Just looking at, talked about North Melbourne's height, Tim. The Dockers are one team that can handle that. If you look at their players, they've got Dawson, McFarlane and Johnson, haven't they?
Yeah, Oregon's one of the fascinations this afternoon. They've actually got the 3 tools that can take all 3 tools.
Mundy can't break through. Garlett had hold of him. And Ibbotson can't. Cunnington fierce in there, right there.
And that's why these midfield battles become so critical too. The other thing that's been forgotten in all this, I mean, we talk about Fremantle's defensive record. The last month, North Melbourne have had less points kicked against them than any other side in the competition. So they're doing it at both ends of the ground.
That's interesting. Just a reminder, no Matthew Pavlich. Did a warm-up today, did a fitness test, and he'll be kept for next week, hopefully. So no Pavlich. Zach Clark came in. That's the only change to either team from last week. Crowley's in there, and so Sandilands and a ball up.
The only thing with keeping Johnson as a defender, he usually drops off and really provides some runs, so he'll have to be kept accountable today.
Yeah, it's Duffield they're trying to free up at the moment back there, Kirky.
Sandilands decisively down to Hill, goes again, brilliantly done. Fife just came onto the ground, gives it across towards Crowley. Crowley goes to half forward, down goes Ballantyne. Ackley has become a good player across half back. Dasher got his hands to it, but it went out of bounds. Ballantyne, one of the coach's favourites, along with Pearce, always the new coach. Likes a couple, you can tell simply from selection. There's a battle after the boundary throw in. So Ross Lyon looks likely to take Fremantle to the finals. He spent some time with the club doctor this morning after pinching himself all night. There's the bounce down towards right half forward. Clark goes high, followed up, couldn't control the football. Ibbotson went to ground. Zeeble missed the footy. Crowley kicks towards centre half forward. Leading back in the races right, showed wonderful judgment. Ballantyne arrived quickly. Petrie gave it across to Atlee, falling to the ground, fed it forward. McMillan, Anthony, troubled by the eye that time, didn't spot it. Spurs got it in trouble. Barlow at close quarters. That's a pretty hot potato in there. Duffield back towards a teammate and Barlow jabs it out towards the wing. Gibson collides with Ballantyne, and we've got a whistle, and Ballantyne wins the free kick.
How critical are these midfield battles going to be this afternoon?
Geez, that was just so fierce, wasn't it? It was a great stuff, and you know, Ballantyne put his head where few would. Good mark by Main, and then Hill sort of helicopter kick forward. Bradley went to ground afterwards. Right and out of play. Was it deliberate, or will be a boundary throw in?
North are already up to 18 tackles, which is huge.
Here's the Liam Anthony's fitness. Sorry, Kirk. Here's the Liam Anthony's fitness test in the rooms just before the game. He took a tablet on the ground. He was poked in the eye in the warm-up, but he's passed it okay. He's already had a mark. And here's Zeeble. It's a penetrating kick, but not a great one. And Dawson, speaking of coach's favourites, he was part of Ross's package, I think.
That's right. A loyal follower across the country.
A disciple,
Here's Spur. Comes out wide. Crowley getting a bit of ball. The defensive side of right centre wing. All the way back to McPhee. And now McPhee, a decision to make. There's movement in the middle. Walters is clear by about 30 metres. We'll get it now. Wow.
McMahon wasn't in a hurry to pick him up then either.
No. Sluggish Sunday. Walters goes out wide. Mundy, a good lead. Mundy, quality player. He's got 75 metres out. Goes to Duffield on the overlap, pushing up from behind. Kicks down towards the pocket. In front was Main, lurking behind Ballantyne. He snaps a goal. Fremantle looking good early.
Well, he's a good player. The one thing he wasn't doing this year was kicking goals. I mean, he's the small forward. He's been compared with Stevie Milton and all that, but he hadn't been kicking enough goals. But in the 3 matches before this, he'd kicked 7. Now, that's sort of what he needs to be around a couple of matches, I reckon.
Yeah, and that's where you can really use your +1. Duffield coming all the way up the ground, just carrying the ball that little bit further so that it was able to be placed in a really dangerous position in Fremantle's forward line.
We've already seen the importance of Hayden Ballantyne to the Fremantle Dockers. He had big influence last week. He had 24 touches, kicked 3, and already his defensive pressure's been fantastic today.
Sandover medalist back in WA. Terrific to watch. I mean, opposition fans don't like him too much, we know that, but he's a commentator's favourite, I reckon. Mundy's high ball, very, very high. Well, that's against Walters, I think.
I'm happy to have him in my side, Bruce.
Yeah, no, with you. So Atley, we've talked a little bit about Atley already. I think we're all smitten with him at the moment. Just feel like he's the new prototype half-back flanker, isn't he? Here's McMahon. He does a great job, McMahon, too.
He does. Really low inside 50s, just 3 each at this stage of the ground. So when we're talking about game being played between the arcs, that's exactly what's happening.
Harper and then Tarrant. Back to Garlett, and then Garlett. That's neat. Well played. Cunnington. Well, that's not a good kick. I'll be disappointed with that, Petrie. So McFarlane to Pearce, and then Pearce carefully to Spur. Played in a couple of premierships at Central District, Spur.
That's Roy Laird, eh?
Yep.
The University of Roy Laird. The tenured professor there, Tony Casserly. That's a beautiful kick from Hill, and the mark is taken in the pocket by Chris Main.
You're going to put your money on again? I am.
Yeah, I'm back on him.
Dennis, 2 great kicks. I mean, the first one into the middle of the ground was an excellent kick to Hill, and then Hill's kick to Main was just perfectly placed. Hill
is a wonderful kick, just has to get more footy. His last 3 games under 20 was 14, 11, 16, I think, the possessions. Now, to be as dangerous as they need him to be, he's just got to find it more or be given it more. But first things first, Main needs to kick this. He missed from 15 metres out directly in front before and missed by about 2 metres. Kick is on the way. See, good players improve with experience. Main puts it through, and Fremantle lead by 7.
Well, Tim, one of the questions we talked about at the head of the show, where do they get their goals? Well, Main and Ballantyne were the next 2 after Pavlich, weren't they?
That's right. They've kicked 53 between them this year, so they will need to contribute heavily again this afternoon. But in the early stage of this game, it's really been North Melbourne's inability to hit targets, and they have been, up until this point, the #1 side in the competition for disposal efficiency.
Do you think they've been a bit cute going forward? I think just bang it in.
I'm with you.
Well, that was the first kick from Spur. That one got deep and penetrating kick to Hill, and then he turned around and kicked the ball onto the fat side to Main. I mean, it was just really good movement from half-back.
Gee, well, it's a good mark too by Main, wasn't it? A real contested mark. So Swallow down low. Mzungu got down low. Well played, Mzungu. Kicks the ball forward. Half forward, Ballantyne. So this is a terrific start by the Dockers. Ballantyne to the pocket. No Pavlich, we know that. Bradley underneath it with Ferrito, and a boundary throw in.
Talking about the Kangaroos' kicking efficiency, last week they kicked at 75%, which was the highest whole season. At the moment, they're just over 40.
Yeah, we feel up here, Kirky, they might be better just to go quickly and long, and rather than try to be too precise when they get forward. Sandilands to Main. Main hooking, but just giving it too much of a hook in the end. So he's had 3 shots on goal, Main, in the first 15 minutes of the match.
And they've been good around the stoppages too. Sandlands has been really dangerous there. 6-4 they lead in that part of the ground. Defensively, they're doing a great job at just being able to slow and stop the Kangaroos' run in the early part.
The kicking hasn't been flash, North. Wright's kick wanders outside the defensive 50. Hill stood up in a tackle. Nicely done by Mundy. Pearce gives it across towards Barlow. Taken to ground. He'll kick this. Turning around is Hill. Well, when I said that, I meant a behind. He just snuck it in.
It's a good sign that he's getting the ball though for Fremantle. He's up to 4 already. Doesn't look like he's got a hard tag of any kind.
Thanks, Tim. It just feels a bit like a foreign object at the moment. He hasn't had a lot of it recently.
Average 15 in his last 4 matches, which is... He gets a hard
tag though, and it just appears that he might get a bit more freedom out here today.
So Petrie up the ground did well to get it to Anthony, and then Ferrito held up on a boundary throw in. So 5 scoring shots to 1 here, Tim.
Yep. North Melbourne 25 handballs to 19 kicks, so they're being forced to overuse the ball and probably play a way that they haven't been playing in the last 6 weeks when they've increased their kick to handball ratio.
Ibbotson just got rid of his man, and then Goldstein chopped it off. Sandilands. McPhee couldn't quite. Now here's a chance. Thomas belts the ball forward. I think he wants the boundary line, but he didn't want it out on the full. So it's a kick to the Dockers.
I like their athleticism against the talls for North Melbourne too. McFarlane's a really good athlete against Petrie. They've got Johnson on Hanson at the moment, who's a very good athlete, and then Dawson's going to take Tarrant.
High ball beyond the wing. Bradley kept coming. Swallow was taken high. I don't think North Melbourne will take advantage here. And Kepler came out of it worst off. He is a willing, hard-working player. Not always a fan favourite at the moment.
He looks a bit uneasy on his feet.
Yeah, he does. Feeling poorly. Now uneasy on his knees. He'll be back though, Kepler, if I know one thing. Meantime, North just work it around. And worse for wear.
He must have got that flush on the chin then.
Tough little hombre, Swallow, isn't he? Both of them are.
Well, anybody's hard head on the wrong part of your face,
yeah,
can be a real weapon.
Delaney's got the football. Just waiting for Kepler to leave the ground, and that's what happened. The back of his head too. Kick around the outer side from Anthony. Goes inside the forward 50 as play restarts then. Tarrant's got it. Attracts a crowd. Got it onto his boot though. Going back Ibbotson. Mzungu. Man on. If he can kick it long enough, and he can. Well, he's gone short initially. Walters is still on, although this will need to be a precise kick and they'll lose their momentum. Should have gone for the long kick coming out. Walters was 30 metres in the clear on the wing. Could have taken it and run down to the attacking 50. Players today don't always look as far as they should. Look for the short option. Wright tries to dig it across to Goldstein. Succeeds, but he's taken down.
Great tackle by the big man.
Hey Dennis, the other thing that happened while Bradley, we see him there in the hands of the trainer there, while he was coming from the ground, they actually made an interchange too. So at that stage, Freo were down 2 players out there on the playing surface.
I think Duffield was the one that came off as well at the same time. So Ibbotson trying to win the clearance, can't quite. Cunnington in there along with Garland originally. Cunnington almost gets through. Anthony, Bastanak, Ferrito had an airy. Hill searching. Well played, Hill. He tapped it to Ballantyne cleverly. Now Fife and Anthony. Anthony flicked it back. He threw it, I reckon.
Crowley's fought back too. Harvey had 3 very early touches and he hasn't been able to touch the ball since then. Yeah, clearly a throw then. You can't script the ball like that.
This guy, Fife, is such a good one-on-one player.
Yep.
I mean, he put so much pressure on Anthony then.
He's got a great vertical leap as well in the air. But he just stays in the contest. He's got great concentration.
He played 4 of the first 5 games this year, and he's played 4 of the last 5. So he's missed most of the season. He's been a massive out for them, hasn't he? So not always the most accurate kick. And that one, he hung it out. So they've had some chances here. They should be 4 goals in front, I reckon.
Dominating the game. McMahon to the pocket. Bastanak. Promising youngster. Off a step to Anthony. No real conviction about North's play at the moment.
Just an injury update on Kepler Bradley. Structurally, he's okay. He's just doing a few run-throughs, so they'll give him a concussion test, I'd imagine.
Anthony to the wing. Zach Clark.
Gee, Johnson did a good job there too, just leaning on Tarrant, keeping him out of the contest. They just do all those small things really well, Fremantle. The longer this season's gone, the more they've been. I guess it's just the Ross Lyon style of play.
Ball inside the 50. Pile up. There he is.
He's back, which is a good sign. The fundamentals and the basics. That's what he gets his players to do extraordinarily well, Ross Lyon.
He drives his staff pretty hard as well, I'm told. There's the bounce just inside the 50. Not that anyone was complaining. Ibbotson throws a boot at it, puts it out of bounds on the full. I hasten to add, Tim, said more in admiration.
You don't have to explain to us.
Away you go, Bruce.
You're not moonlighting during the week there, are you, Dennis?
No.
Here's McMahon, short kick, not a good one. Main to Barlow. Now, Mundy's normally a good kick, and off a step. Oh, that's a big turnover. North are rattled. Kirky, one of the things I'll ask you shortly, I want to ask you what influence Ross Lyon had on the Swans when he was there, because it's the Ross Lyon way, but it's almost the Sydney way as well. But I'll get to you with that in a minute. But you would have been with him, I guess, at the Swans. But, gee, that's a massive bit of play. I mean, that turnover. They're slow motion, North Melbourne, aren't they? There's nothing, no movement. They're waiting. They're second-guessing one another. Anyway, Brett, just answer that for us in about 1 second, about Lyon. So, Kirky, what about Ross Lyon's influence at Sydney when he was there?
Yeah, he had a big influence in the midfield and a big influence on me personally, Bruce. Very systematic, but I think also for me, he gave me the confidence to attack the footy. Obviously playing an attacking role to get after it as well.
Brad Scott not happy. Barlow kicks it down towards half forward. In trouble, Thompson comes out the back. Ballantyne slung late. Pearce bounces one inside the forward 50. His kicking has not been flashed, but this is a dangerous spot nevertheless. McMahon takes it back across the line.
When they're used to this pressure, though, North Melbourne, they're back six. They saw it in the early part of the game last week against Collingwood, and they were really able to just control the situation. They settled down really well.
Yeah, after a very slow start. This is Mundy at his second. He snaps and just misses to the right-hand side. So they're constantly coming at North at the moment, just like Collingwood did. I think it got out to about over 4 goals, close to 5, before a response came from North. And what a response it was.
I reckon it was 4-1 to nothing, Tim. Could be wrong, but this has been a slightly different one because North actually got the first goal today, didn't they?
10-5 the clearances already. And I mean, Mundy coming into this game and kicked 5 for the year, so he's already had a chance in this first quarter to nail 2.
And the other thing that happened last Saturday night was that North had momentum at quarter time. They'd got right back. Now, they need a goal here before quarter time because at the moment it's one-way traffic. Dawson and Hanson. We've talked a lot about those matchups early. Pearce a lot of the ball. McPhee, well, he just sold 2 dummies, didn't he? And then through the centre, low kick to De Boer. Wasn't touched on the way through. Gee, the Dockers look so sharp at the moment. To Barlow. Now, Barlow, how expansive does he go here, Barlow? Well, he comes out wide. Duffield's been the loose man, the extra bloke down back for most of this first quarter.
No marks yet for Tarrant.
Blood rule, I think.
Hanson or Petrie at this stage. So the 3 talls for Fremantle are doing a really good job. But so too are the players up further on the field with the pressure they're applying to North Melbourne. There's no real free-flowing football coming through at the moment.
Gee, you want to get it down in a hurry with this bloke. I don't know how many chances they've had to take a mark, Tim, to be honest.
That's what I'm saying. The ball has been really slow in delivery from the midfield. And that's all about pressure that's being applied.
Not down there very often either. Here's Johnson. Loops it over the head, not his intention of Pearce, but bounces obligingly. The hurried kick, missed by Main in front. That was a golden opportunity. Atley comes away, kicks towards midfield. That was a nice kick. Atley with dash, put it on the chest of Tarrant. Looks out towards the wing, Anthony. But again, looking upfield, a lot of Dockers, not many North players. Harvey comes on a long lead, takes the mark at the interchange gates. Nearly 15 metres in front of the kicker. Now he sends it down towards the attacking 50. Big leap at the back from Johnson. I think there'll be a Fremantle free. Advantages taken. Dangerous kick by Barlow, but effective enough. Mzungu. They're up and about Fremantle at the moment, although not much on down the ground. Hard to predict after last night, but a lot of talk, I'm sure, in Perth today about the possibility of the first week final between the Dockers and the West Coast Eagles. If it happens, it will be history-making. Out of defence. Hill close to the boundary. Is it too close? No. Off hands. Good result. Boundary throw in.
Just looking at the matchups, Harvey and Crowley are the only two that are really accountable roles. The others are like for like. And I think Fife and Hill will really like that space.
Gee, they had a chance there, Tim. McFarlane off the ground, and they were getting the ball in the forward 50, but they haven't been able to take advantage of it at all. This has been a really impressive performance by the Dockers. Gee, Pearce, he's wasted a few, but gee, he's got a lot of it. Ballantyne, Clark, and then back to Ferrito. Off a step, Ferrito. Here he is again, Pearce. He's up. Well, that's Griffin-like, isn't it? There's a little kick forward by Hill. Gets it back. And the Dockers, that's a probing kick. Now it's a one-on-one forward, maybe a two-on-one. And well played in the front. Taking a chance out there, but he plays it that way. Bastanak, McMahon. Now they've got to build here. McMillan, who kicked their only goal. They've got to use it. Through the centre to Anthony. Petrie directing traffic. Anthony, can he go all the way? Why not? He gets to 40, 50 metres now. High, long, and very, very wide, and not at all handsome. And he's not a bad-looking bloke, even with a poked eye.
That was good play there from Ibbotson. He came off his man early and just charged at Anthony.
That's the flaw in his game for Anthony. Oh, almost a very good mark by Barlow. Tries to tie it up amongst his legs there and then flashes it out of bounds, and the umpire says deliberate. No argument comes from Barlow.
His injury concern, Kepler Bradley's come off. He looks pretty distressed. Might be vomiting.
Now, Delaney's got it. Well, we saw him come back on, Kepler. He had a drive-by mark, an involuntary mark that came straight at him. And now he's off again, so that's bad news, but fingers crossed as Duffield goes across the ground. McPhee's got the run of it. 2 minutes remaining in the term. McPhee has done that a couple of times, and they've bought it both times. He runs beyond centre wing, kicks inside the forward 50, and Ballantyne takes the tumbler. The 08 Sandover medalist looks up, short one, that's ambitious, runs free at the back, things falling into place, hand pass comes to De Boer, smothered off the boot. Hill was the man who gave it to him, trying to find a way through down there is Walters. He can't do much with the footy, picked up by and falling to the ground down there in defence was McMahon. The hand pass as a result ineffectual. Delaney in a similar situation, diving in his Ballantyne. And the umpire has called for it. So we're down to a minute 23. And Fremantle again lurking well within scoring range.
Gee, the Dockers are playing well, but they've had some chances. They should be further in front. Hill's little kick. Feel like they need another goal to justify what they've done in this first term. Garlett, one-on-one. Gibson, who's had a remarkable season, out of play.
Well, Hill's up to 10 now. They have to shut him down. They've got to slow his possession rate down because he's just getting too much of the footy and too much of it in really dangerous parts of the ground too.
Sandilands, he's been winning the battle. There's a high tackle.
McFarlane's back on deck. He's gone downstairs to get some stitches. He'll be back on soon.
Well, what a key he is. Petrie's had a really slow start to the match, but he's not alone. Speaking of Petrie, he was out there. Fife. Well done, Harper. He corralled him there. And then good pressure on De Boer. And North just need a turnover here. Petrie forward.
Bounces inside the centre square, then runs out. Johnson gets it. He's tackled from behind by Tarrant. Working hard is Spur. He's taken down by McMillan and Tarrant, and the whistle goes. So 32 seconds to quarter time. And this ball up. Scoring end of the centre square as far as North Melbourne are concerned. They trail by 16. Playing in the pale blue this afternoon, despite being the home team. Sandland's won it down. Fife scrambles a kick to midfield. Main, who's been industrious, tried to feed it out to the man scooting past who was Hill. On his knees for Rito. Garlett gave it across towards Bastanak. Kicks inside the forward 50. Storming up is Hansen. Coming across Johnson. Good tackle. Hansen got him down. Ball is taken across the line by Anthony. Margin 16. 10 seconds to go.
Kepler Bradley's gone downstairs. Obviously a concern.
Yep, we know that Clark came into the match for Pavlich. Gee, Swallow did well. This will be a captain's effort from the pocket and just missing. And that's it. What a remarkable opening turn. The Dock has so much of the ball, and yet they don't lead by a whole lot. It's 1-2 to 3-5. Roof over the top. Etihad Stadium. Stakes still pretty high here. We'll be talking to Brad Scott after the break, the coach of North Melbourne. He's got a lot of thinking to do right now.